The Ghana Armed Forces has warned its soldiers in Boku will not hesitate to defend themselves if attacked by factions in the conflict there. In a statement, they noted engaging the military in direct armed confrontation would have fatal consequences. The warning follows accusations by MP for the area, Maham Ayerga, that soldiers from 11 Mechanized Battalion deployed to maintain peace in the area had picked up 3 civilians and executed them without provocation.
Eyewitnesses saw everything that happened. These boys were not exchanging fire with anybody. They were actually apprehended by the soldiers because they were sitting. They were not, one ran away, but the others were sitting there because if I'm doing nothing, I haven't committed an offense and I'm sitting at my base and you are coming, why should I run? But one of them ran. The 3 that thought that there was nothing wrong with waiting for soldiers to come to them, they got apprehended by the soldiers. They beat them up. The assemblyman came out and pleaded with the soldiers to release the boys. They refused. And then ultimately, they shot the boy. He's a member of the community. So when soldiers do that, you expect them to now come and tell you empty that, oh, no, we just beat them up. They annoyed us and then we started to shoot them. Don't forget that these same soldiers, last year, they went and shot about 7 young men.
Yeah.
When I took them on, they issued a statement saying that they neutralized those people. I took the matter to Shrike. Last month, Shrike wrote back to me saying that the soldiers denied killing anybody on that day at that community. So clearly, they would deny. But let's to the community to find out exactly what happened.
Yeah, but Shrike cannot stop. Shrike cannot stop at listening to the soldiers and say, since they've denied, that's the end of it. Because it is investigating.
I'm just telling you the attitude.
All right.
Give me the attitude that they will deny, even when they have committed the offense. Even in this instance where they publicly admitted, they said they neutralized. They used the word neutralize. And you heard the MP also saying that they said, oh, they described young men who were engaged in the exchanges with them. There's no young man in Boku just face soldiers and be engaged in gunfire exchanges with soldiers. No young man will do that. Because these are professionals. They know how to shoot better than you. So the boys don't engage the soldiers. They don't. It is a lie.
But don't you think that you may be assuming too much when you say no young man, with such, completeness, particularly where we are told again about how even, is it a bomb or so was planted by ordinary people in the same area. So some young men may be capable of doing what you may not be able to imagine.
Let me tell you something. If the young men engage the soldiers, I will know. And I'm telling you that they did not engage the soldiers. I will know. And I will not go public and attack the military when I know that the boys are wrong. I've not done that before.
Okay.
But when they are wrong, the soldiers are wrong, we need to face them and let them know that they are wrong.
Right.
We need them there. We have called for reinforcement. We've called for the military to be brought there, and they have been brought there in response to our own plea. But then, you should not also become the problem. That is my concern now. I'm not against the soldiers.
Right.
But I also will not allow the soldiers to just assume that when they get frustrated, then they should, unleash mayhem on the young people.
But in a statement, the Ghana Armed Forces denied killing civilians, but explains that it responded to an attack from armed attack, which resulted in the death of 3 persons. And in the statement, you can see that the Ghana Armed Forces has noticed with concerns by some individuals in Boku and the media that soldiers deployed on Operation Maidaburi to restore calm in the area have killed 3 innocent Kusasi youth at Sangbongari, a suburb of Boku. It's also alleged that the assailants were initially held in custody by own troops and subsequently executed. It was further suggested that the Misiga assemblyman personally approached the Boku detachment at about 19:30 hours to negotiate the release of the deceased assailants. GAF wishes to categorically state that these allegations are false and unfounded. Reports from 11 mechanized battalions deployed in Boku indicated that factions in the conflict appear to have resumed escalation of violence with fatal consequences. Now joining me via phone is my colleague with the research desk, Kofi. Kofi, let's start with the military's overview of the renewed violence in the area.
Right, Emma, just like you said, this is a report from the 11 Mechanized Battalion deployed in Boku to indicate that factions to the conflict actually appears to have resumed escalation of violence with fatal consequences. So we start with on the 9th of February, Friday, 12 January, and early hours of Saturday, 13 January 2024. There were some sporadic, gunshots were heard at news stations, and then you have the Daduri and then Mazima. On Wednesday, 17 January 2024, at about 1:20 p.m., unknown gunmen attacked members of a public behind Boku Divisional Police Station, killing 2 victims and injuring 4 others. And we also have that the deceased victims were of the Mampusi and Moshi tribe, while the other victims with various degrees of injuries were of the Bisa and then the Basunga and Krushi descent. On the same day, at about 8 p.m., an unknown assailant murdered one Azuma Al-Hassan, a 47-year-old Kusasi professor at Sukabisi, Bogatanga. This sparked sporadic gunshot at Boku later at that night. We also have, it further went ahead to say that, on Thursday, 18 January 2024, at about 4:30 a.m., unknown gunmen hiding in the valley fired at own troops. Here, we are referring to the Ghana Armed Forces troops positioned at Avengo. In another development as well, Emma, about 5:30 a.m., same day, at the Ghana Police Patrol Team spotted 2 locals attempting to light up a rocket-propelled grenade bombed at a oil filling station in Boku. The suspects actually fled upon, sighting the patrol team, leaving behind the bomb. And Ghana Police, the police service retrieved their unexploded ordnance and handed it over to SAME for some sort of, safety. And they went ahead to say that it is worth mentioning that about 8:30 p.m., same day, Emma, own troops here, the Ghana Armed Forces, conducted a night, foot patrol around Hassania School at Sabonguri, were fired upon by 4 gunmen. This is the latest that we are learning, that the troops returned fire, spontaneously, neutralizing 3 of the assailants. And the 4th suspect managed to escape. So the troops retrieved 1 AK-47 rifle loaded with 16 rounds of 7.2 by 39 ML ammunition. Ghana Police Service also team arrived at the location subsequently to convey the deceased assailant to the morgue. And so they end by saying that it is instructive to note that the directly engaging the military is a development that could result in fatal consequences, as troops will not spare no opportunity to defend themselves as well as protect residents of Boku, Emma.
Kofi, they also say they reserve space to respond to Mahama Ayarga's allegations that the 3 men who were killed were civilians, and rather they were armed men.
So just like you read in your intro, the armed forces said they've actually noticed some concerns allegation by some individuals in Boku and then the media that soldiers deployed on Operation Meida Buri to restore calm in the area have killed 3 innocent Kusasi youth at Sabonguri, a suburb of Boku. They say that it is also alleged, they call it an allegation, that the assailants were initially held in custody by some troops and consequently executed. It is They say it was further suggested that the Bisiga assemblymen, personally approached the Boku detachment at about some 7:30 p.m. to negotiate the release of the deceased assailants. So they call this allegations and say they are not founded.
Thank you very much, Isaac Kofi J is with our research desk. Now let's take you live there for an update, where Albert Sori is our correspondent in the region. Albert, thank you for joining us. What's the latest in Boku this Sunday?
So things have been calm since the last 24 hours. From what we learned, the number of security personnel have increased over the last 2 days or so because of the recent happenings. And so things have been calm. Today, compared to yesterday, there are fewer people on the streets of Boku. Also, a lot of shops are not open, but that could also be because today is a Sunday. So these are the changes that we have seen. Earlier, we got a report about a somewhat shooting incident in which a Bulgar-bound vehicle was targeted. But the information we have at the moment on that is the security intervened, and fortunately, no one was hurt. There was no injury or casualty whatsoever. Outside of that, everything else has been calm.
Good to hear then. Thank you very much, Albert. Albert Sori is our regional correspondent there. Now.